There was like an excitement and a strong emotion to your voice.
That's a pattern. Those,
Yeah.
like you had to organize the patterns. So, I mean,
And so here is a pattern where you're expected to say something just like you were expected to type on a keyboard that was all out of order.
yes. Then if I want to be, then it's like how they say, play the game.
Yes.
Even if you really feel dirty and you afterwards, because you kind of like something's not right, you know, you still feel like throwing up after.
Yes.
I don't know, but it's so simple. Like, I don't see why I needed to compromise myself in an area where it made me actually sick inside, whereas I could honestly say that it just caused people some like momentary discomfort because they started it. Do you understand? They started it with the "Hi, how are you?" Like a setup, sort of, you know.
But they had no interest in your answer. They're just going through the motions.
Yeah, you
yes.
see, that's the thing. But they still started it because you have to all of a sudden organize. Because you already say, this means this. And then you have to organize your response to what it means. But then you have to stop everything because
what it means isn't what they want to know.
Yes.
Then they teach you the ABCs in order, and then they make you use a keyboard.
What is the point? See, no, I didn't do that.
Why are the, well, that?
What?
Yes,
no,
you
that's
did.
Not it. No, no.
What is the point?
What's the point? No,
that's
not how the guy.
What is the? You did it right as far as I mean. I understand.
It's the Italian version. The Italian guy said it better on TV.
What is the point?
That would be like a lawyer guy. What is the point? You know, like, so you have to do it like the Italian. What's the point? Or no, that's not it.
What's the point?
Yeah.
What's the point?
I have a fascination with speech. Sorry. Yeah, that's it. This is what makes me crazy about people, because I feel like I'm not crazy. I'm just like the only sane person in a crazy world. You know, where reason and logic means nothing, or nothing means what it's supposed to mean. And then I understood that because...
And everything is about you adjusting to them, not them adjusting to you.
If they ask the question, then on the test, you gave what fits. It became mathematical, see? Like, some of the tests was, how many brothers do you have? And it's like 2 + 2 = 4. It's not 5. It was math, like,
so math had.
Is your name, like, is your name Sarah? If I just pounded yes, automatic, see? If my name is your name Sarah, and I said yes, and if they said, is your name Becky? I said yes. Is your name Michael? I said yes. My things didn't have to get ugly, see? And it got ugly.
So they wanted it to be exact there.
I knew that they said your name and your meaning, that entity which is Julie, which is who I was. See, that was who I was occupying. And you was the entity named Julie, so it wasn't Sarah. So I said no, then I said no, and then the questions got harder.
But it sounds like they wanted an exact, truthful, correct answer for questions like that, and then when it became social questions, they wanted you to not answer accurately. Like they wanted an accurate question, what is your name?
Yes.
They want you to say Julie. not Becky or Bob. They want you to say Julie.
Yes.
But then when they ask, how are you, they want you to answer inaccurately.
They didn't ask me that.
I know, but I'm saying, but there were the two ways. There are two categories.
Yeah, the
Answer this one accurately and this one inaccurately.
Yeah, you see, that is the hypocrisy of humanity.
And to be part of humanity, you have to somehow tolerate that, even if you don't.
Because then you'll be lonely.
Yeah.
Because you couldn't be everywhere anymore, and you couldn't be a ghost, and you weren't part of anybody anymore. Because now you knew where you began and ended. I began and ended at Julie. That's where I began and ended at Julie. And when you begin and end at Julie, then that means you're not connected to everybody anymore. And that's when you become lonely, and that's when suffering became constant. And that's when you understand what fear was. Fear was born, and doubt was born.
What would be an experience you would have started to have with fear?
Knowing that something that happened could happen again, and that it would hurt. Anticipation. And then you would anticipate whether this was a good thing that was going to feel good, or a bad thing that was going to feel bad to that person that was Julie, the entity that was Julie, see? Who you couldn't get away from anymore. No matter what you tried to backtrack anymore, everything else is like you can't go there no more.
So that's a loss.
Yes, it was death.
It sounds like it.
Yes. Then you had to become like the dead.
Now there's one strange thing.
That's when you know what death means.
Death or death?
Dying.
Okay.
It's losing a part of yourself, which was actually part of everything. Because now you're just a tiny part, separate. And then you have to figure out a way of not being alone or lonely. And then you can't do it the way you did it before, no, and you had to do it their way. Like Sarah, not Sarah, Judy and Tarot, if they're talking, they are together. See, and
yes,
you're not with them. So if you want to be with them, you have to be with them another way now. And to do that, you have to talk, and talking has to be refined to mean you can't just repeat what they're saying, because you're not included anymore. Like, see,
so here you are having to figure out how to be included. You won't. Nobody will
reconnect. See.
Nobody will leave you alone, and nobody will include you.
Well, no, they wouldn't leave me alone, no. And then they wouldn't leave me alone until I got stuck into Julie land. They did. I don't mean it to sound like that. They wouldn't leave me alone until you see, and then I got stuck in Julieland, see? And when you get stuck in Julieland, you couldn't be with them either. It's like they made you stuck there, and you couldn't
be their friend or
be with them. Like you couldn't be here, and you couldn't be there, and like, why did you even shove me here? See, I guess.
And nobody understood what was happening, so they didn't know how to help you because this is all new. So they didn't help.
Yeah,
they
that's
didn't
when
and
they
couldn't help.
put me on like medicines, because my mom took to the doctor, and she said she used to be happy, and now she's not. Like, she took me to the doctor. She said she used to be happy, see, and I was getting better and I was not getting better, see, and
one part was getting better and one part was not getting better.
One part was gone, see, and then medicines were given, I guess, and yeah, but I was happy reading books and learning, because I like that. That was another escape for me.
Well, when you started, the very first thing you did was at age 9. You said a phrase.
Oh yeah, alone leave me.
Then you began verbal stimming to keep the talking going, but it wasn't.
Because it had an effect.
And once you get something like that, you don't want to lose it.
Yeah, see, so because if I kicked and I screamed or this stuff, it didn't make anybody do anything. And I realized, like my sister said, leave me alone, and like she would do that and then slam the door on me, because I felt I was with her all the time, and she's got tired, I guess, so she would say, leave me alone, and shut the door, and then my mom would say, leave her alone, and it meant that I couldn't be with her for a while sometimes, because because like somebody had to have a normal childhood with friends, so like my my illness shouldn't mean like everybody has to like not have a life or a childhood, see, so like I had to leave my sister alone. That meant like I couldn't be in our room or something, like.
Which would make you feel how?
It didn't bother me, no, just what else was happening, see, so.
Well, I'm wondering something, because when you began, you had some talking, a phrase at 9, then you did the vocal stimming.
I knew that meant something, see.
Yes. And
most words mean something, like.
Or they make people do things.
Yes, if they make people do things.
Like, what kind of cereal do you want? You could say a word and say what kind of cereal you wanted and get it. But if you can't communicate, then you can't get what you want. You can't tell anybody what you want. You just get what they give you.
Yes, and that one at 9 was because they were going to, they wouldn't, but that was the phrase but it didn't come out right. It came out like backwards, I think.
But it was clear enough. A
But-
typical person would understand what
yes,
that meant.
it said, and it was like the lady stopped and.
But then you couldn't keep doing it, and let me
Her
just...
breathe, I tried to do it again and it wouldn't come out, no.
So then you, to not lose talking completely, you did the vocal stimming to keep the sounds coming the right way.
I was fascinated by the sounds because that was the first time I heard the Julie entity say something.
But then the next...
And I tried to understand why she didn't say anything ever. And other people did, see?
Then you began typing at about age 12.
Yeah.
And then when did you begin talking intentionally again after what you... I know you had done vocal stems.
I would repeat things, and sometimes some things came out. But I didn't have it was INCONT, and consistency, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
It was inconsistent.
Sporadic.
Yeah, someone would say something and I repeat it soon after, and I was afraid to lose it, and I would repeat it again and again, and like, you know, like a song you play over and over because you're fascinated by it.
Yes.
And then you just don't know where, like, you couldn't hit a different phrase, so you got stuck on it a lot. So I did that, but I realized that, like, for example, if someone asked me a question, I knew what the answer was here, but the only thing that came out of Julie's mouth was the last thing she said. See?
So,
Like, yabba dabba doo, Barney. You see, you understand? Like, I knew what I want to say, but then, like, the only thing that came out was the last thing I said the last time, and it didn't sound the same. And why couldn't I
want to go back to one thing here
match?
to see about
I
talking.
don't know why I couldn't make it match for such a long time.
Was typing mostly for answering questions?
Yeah, I spelled words. And
was talking, when you began to talk intentionally, did that become more
Like,
about
it
initiating
was-
and conversation?
talking?
Yeah, I mean, was typing mostly about tests and answering questions, and was talking, when you began to talk intentionally, more to communicate and or was it still just to answer questions?
Typing? Yeah.
Typing, let's start with just typing. Was typing for answering questions, yes or no? When you could type?
Yes.
Was typing, yes,